This is lesson 120, working with angles for geometry. We're going to look at a couple definitions in a second, but before we do that, I want to refresh your memory on some things about triangles. So first, the total number of degrees in a triangle is 180. So there are 180 degrees in every single triangle, no matter how different they look. So the reason this is helpful is if you know 2 out of 3 of the angles, you can find the third one. If you have 45 and 72, what you can do is take 180 minus 45, which is 135, minus 72, which is 5 minus 2 is 3, carry the 1, 13 minus 7 is 6, so 63 degrees is the other one. Some students prefer to go 45 plus 72 and get 117, and then do 180 minus 117. You'll still get 63. So either way is fine. They're just two different methods. It depends on what you prefer. So the two definitions we need are supplementary angles and complementary. These two are easily confused, and sometimes I even forget which is which. Supplementary angles are two angles whose sum is 180. Sum means when you add them up. So one way that Ms. Swenson remembers this is supplementary. If you close off this S, see how it looks like an 8 for 180? That's how she remembers it, which I think is a pretty good idea. The other one is complementary. So complementary angles are two angles whose sum, which is when you add them up, is 90 degrees. Ms. Swenson also has this idea, where if you close off this letter, it looks like a little 90 right here. So I find that really helpful to help me remember which is which. All right, so let's practice a little bit. If we have 42-degree angle and I want to know what's the supplement, supplement is an 8. So we need to do 180 minus 45. Oh, just kidding. Minus 42, which is 80 minus 40 is 140, 139. Complementary is like a 9, so it's 90. 90 minus 42 is 48. So our next one is 87 degrees. If we're looking for the supplement, we need to do 180 minus 87. So that is 93. And then complementary is 90 minus 87. That's just 3 degrees. All right, now linear pairs. These are linear pairs are two angles that make a line. So they're two angles that make a line. And if you guys remember, a line has 180 degrees. Okay, so linear pairs add up to 180. This is really nice because if you have an angle that's like 5 degrees right here, these two are a linear pair, so you do 180 minus 5, and you know this is 175 degrees. So it's kind of cool, I guess, these relationships. And then vertical angles, these are two angles formed by two intersecting lines that have the same value. They're across from one another. I'll show you what I mean. So it said two intersecting lines. So if I draw this line and I don't know, this line, lines have arrows. So these two lines cross. this is a linear pair. Sorry, I'm sorry. This is a vertical angle. And this is a vertical angle. Those two are equal. They form a V, like a V that kind of bounces off of each other, and they're going to be the same size. Then on the other side, these are also vertical angles. So those two will also be equal. The key thing is they're equal. That's the cool thing there. All right, so let's look at a couple. So it says for each problem, find all the missing angles. All right, these two angles, they form a line. These are called linear pairs. So what we do is take 180 minus 120, and we get 60. So the other angle is 60 degrees. This one, there's a couple ways that you guys can approach this, but you hopefully notice that we have a straight line right here. A straight line adds up to 180. So I'm going to say that we have some linear pairs here. So we have 180 degrees total, but minus this right here is 90 degrees. So we end up with 90 degrees left. Then we want to take away the 40 degrees to see what's left, and we get 50. 50 degrees is what's left for that middle angle. All right, these ones, there's two ways, again, you could think about this. If you want, you could go linear pair. I'll do linear pair work in purple. So you could see that these two make a linear pair and say, oh, okay, 180 minus 70. This must be 110. And then you can say, oh, all right, well then this one also is a line. So 180 minus 110, that's 70. And you can keep going and you'll get 110 here also. Now, if you see this as vertical angles, your work is going to be in orange. So this and this are across from each other. So you would know that it was 70 degrees. And then you'd have to use linear pairs to find the partner, but you would also know that the vertical angles would be equal. Okay? So there's some pieces to this one. All right, last thing. I believe this is the last. Yeah. So last one, what I would start with is these two lines cross. And I recognize that these are then vertical angles. So that one's 35. Then I would notice that I've got a straight line here. Linear pair, which is actually a linear triplet, I guess. We do 180 minus 90 because of this one is 90. Minus 35 is 55. Now, one angle you guys might miss is right here, right here. So you might also need to then do 180 minus 35 because of this one, or because of this one, I guess. And you get 145 because this makes a line. All right, you guys have some homework to practice, and let me know if you guys have any questions.